Hello and welcome back to the Music Shack with both
Ray.
and Jack. Let's go. We're back. We're back for another episode. This is a very centered one because something huge happened this week or 2 months ago, but we found out about it this week.
Yeah. Which is so crazy that happened this month ago. But anyway, 2 months ago. But like, what we're talking about is obviously Taylor buying back her masters, which is hilarious because if you listen to the last episode, we talked about the possibility of this exact thing, and then it happened, which is really funny. But Jack, what was your like initial reactions when you saw the Instagram post from Taylor?
Well, this was like for some reason didn't get like any notification. I have Taylor's notifications on like everything, right? And I just got like no notifications at all. And I was just like, I think I maybe was like, so I was only like 5 minutes late, but I literally like was just scrolling through like Twitter, and then people were starting to be like they were all like chatting about something. I was like, what's going on? And then like one of the bigger updates, I think it was like the Eras Tour account, or I don't know what it was, tweeted something about it, and I was like, I'm gonna go check. So I like went on Instagram, went to Taylor. I was like, what the fuck? I was like this is crazy because we literally spoke about this, and there's like so much thoughts we had about it, and then seeing that and just seeing Taylor there with like all those albums that like mean so much to like all of us and like have soundtracked those early years of our lives, to like finally be able to like class them as hers again, it's like like really sweet. And then that letter was impossible to read on mobile, so I had to like open my laptop and read it, and I was like, okay. And then I sent it to you, and you were like, it's tiny. I was like, yep. Like, tell me about it. But yeah, like, cause I don't know, I was kind of just like, you know, that like, not that there was pressure on me, but like that like weight just lifted off. I was like, oh my god, okay, I need to go listen to Better Than Revenge, like OG, because I love that. I just love it. And like Amin as
like
well.
That was the first song. You know, the first song I listened to was "How You Get the Girl," which is like probably the most deep cut, but that shit was ruined.
No,
anyway,
that is so good. Good choice.
But it's funny because you say you didn't get any notifications. I have been very like no social media. We talked about this last week. So I don't have notifications. So the first way I find out is Jack texting me, and I was like, "Oh my god!" So I like immediately run to Instagram, and I was like, "What the fuck?" Because I was working, and like everything's out the door at that point. I'm like on my phone, you know, pulling up my playlist, and then I click on the link to the website to read the letter, and I'm on my phone, right? Because I'm working, and I'm just like, oh my god, I can't read this. Like, I'm actually gonna try. I'm gonna go insane trying to read this on her website. It was wild. But then I'm messaging Jack. I was like, how much did she say how much she bought them for? And then I was like, wait, no, I should just read this. But it was funny. But speaking of how much she bought them for, and like what the whole process was, and like the letter itself, I think the letter was like so beautiful because the reality is like this whole process, it wasn't about the fans and like anything about that. It was about her and her music, and I think that really reflected in the letter. And for us, like as fans, especially like longtime fans of Taylor, like taking on this commitment to like only listen to Taylor's versions and whatever was solely because of our love for Taylor and like wanting to support her and support her endeavors in like the industry, which is like a fucked up industry in this way, that like something like this could even happen. And I think that's really important, and I think the letter like really reflected that, like how much emotion she had put into all of this for herself, and not just her, like she mentions at the end, like younger artists, and also recognizing that the fans had taken that commitment along with her, and I thought it was really special.
Yeah, like there's a lot of people were pointing out like sort of the similarities like between the posts where she initially spoke about like losing our masters, and then like it was like the ending. It was like elated and amazed, whereas like I need to like double check this. But it was like the complete comparison of like when she lost the masters, and it was just like really sweet to see like the comparison behind it, because like yeah, like there's a lot more, like you were saying, a lot more behind it than I think we initially, like not that initially, but we kind of put it on, like when we speak about the stolen versions or reclaimed versions now, we always just chat about the albums, right? And like how you've lost these like projects, but then like as she makes like clear in the letter as well, it's like you forget about everything that goes along with it, like the music videos, the concert films, like the art, the photography, like just like even just the feelings behind these each of these projects, because it's like it's been like ripped away from her, right? Like these memories, these fond memories of creating these projects that were hers, or like weren't really hers, but like you know what I mean.
Yeah.
To then like pretty much being like, oh yeah, they're actually not yours. So like those experiences are now like really soured, because it's like, okay, well, while you spent this era of your life creating this piece of art, like you can no longer look back on it and be like, oh okay, I'm really fond of this time because of this. Like, and she's an artist that has soundtracked like the life of so many people, because at the same time she was growing up, we were growing up with her, and like while the memories were and like the energy of the initial albums were quite recaptured in the re-recordings, I think just everything that came along with each project at the time of each project being like created, it means so much more. So I can't imagine how she feels like overall. Like when she signed that contract or whatever she would have had to sign, like what, I just can't imagine like the feeling, because it is more than just albums, it's everything along with it.
Yeah.
And
I mean, yeah.
I don't know.
Sorry, go ahead.
I just think it's like we see this and we're like, holy shit, this is amazing, because we all went along with it. We supported her by like not listening to these, or like if you had them on record, like a lot of people would like listen to them on record instead of streaming them. Like there's a lot of like things that we've done behind the scenes, whereas it's like we, like to us it's just like we never, I don't think I ever seen really anybody speak about like the stuff other than the albums. And I don't know, I just think it sort of hit me hard to realize, and I was like, fuck, I didn't think about that. Like that's everything. It's like everything from the like over the last 20 years.
Yeah.
She's like finally been able to like recapture it, and like I don't know, I just think something about that is like really beautiful, and her wording and through this letter is just, I think you can tell how she feels, because it's like really out there and open, and it's just, yeah, I don't know, I it's feeling very parasocial, guys, but
yeah, I think like for us as like, I guess I want to say like pre-eras Taylor fans, I think the reality is like in a normal case, if this happened to a lot of other artists, they probably would never say anything about it, to be honest. They would like work behind the scenes to purchase their masters back. They would never say anything about it, and that would be that, you know? And I think Taylor, because of the fandom and the community that exists within Swifties and has existed within Swifties like since the beginning, she felt enabled to make a statement like this and know that her fans would like back her back when this initially happened, and back when she initially announced that she was going to do the re-recordings, because it is a big risk. And like for us, like our love for Taylor outweighs everything that's like nostalgic about past albums, because we want to support her and like fuck Scooter Braun or whatever, you know? And I think that's why like this moment, it wasn't just a win for Taylor, it was a win for all of us. And it was a win for all of us who have like made that commitment to be there and like listen to her versions and like support her through this, because for a lot of other artists, either they would never know, or their fandoms would just be like, no, I don't want to do that. Like, I like the old versions kind of thing. And there definitely were obviously people who are like that. And I saw there was like a sentiment online about how like for some newer fans or like people who aren't Swifties being like, oh, she spent X amount of money on, and like I don't want to make this about the money. We will touch on it, but like on buying her albums back, and she like went through this whole re-recording process for, you know, her all of her albums other than so like 4. I was like, how many had she done? I can't do math in my head. For 4 of her albums, like she quote unquote made her fans buy, you know, new records, stream new albums to like make more money. Mm-hmm. And it's like, that wasn't the point of any of this. Like, it's Taylor didn't do this scheme to make money. Like, that was literally not what happened. She did it because she cares. And I think the letter, like, really cements that. And I hate that sentiment of, like, oh, this was all some kind of a ruse to get more money out of her fans. I think that's, like, super fucked up. And, yeah, that's pretty much it.
I've seen that, like, that sentiment, but I've also seen it from the side of the fans, and they're like, okay, so what does this mean now? Like, what, like, a lot of them are like a little bit unsure of like what Taylor's version means now, and it's like, okay, I get it, like I understand what you're coming from, right? Like, now that you can go listen to these old albums, maybe it feels a little like redundant being like, okay, well, what album do you listen to? Because a lot of people are going back to the OGs just for like nostalgic, and like a lot of people just like the originals. I think it captures the time more, and you're never going to be able to get that with a remaster. But it's not necessarily just like, okay, well, this is a sign of the time, and then we're going to forget about it, or we're going to like just move back to the old ones and just be like, oh, that was something that happened. It's like a true it's right there in front of you of someone like trying to make a difference in the industry for like the artists that come after her. Like, this movement, like the Taylor's version movement, was so much more than just like re-recording stuff to make like the money off it again. It was truly like someone who was so lost in the fact that they no longer owned the projects that they put their life into, self-written like projects that like were no longer hers, to the point where she like wanted to like make a stance and make an opportunity out of this for like situations like this in the future to like be seen in a different light. And it's like the Taylor's version like mantle is more than just albums. It's like this whole process of sticking it to the business and like standing up for yourself against pretty much like an industry that has pretty much not always been the kindest to artists. Like, just because the moment's over doesn't mean the moment's over. It's like this Taylor's version will go down as something that it's like so important, and like you can listen to whatever album you want, but that doesn't mean that if everybody's going back to listen to the OGs that this didn't like mean something, because it means so much more than I think a lot of people realize. And I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I don't know, like, there's I've seen people starting to create like playlists of like songs from both albums and being like, okay, I like this version, so I'm gonna have that. Like, they put the soundtrack through, but they like just place their favorite songs or favorite versions in the playlist, and that's fun. I don't know if I'll I don't know what I'm gonna do. I haven't really had a lot of time to think about it, and it's like the way I listen to Taylor is going to be a lot different, or the way a lot of people listen to Taylor's now is going to be a lot different.
But I think that's beautiful, and I think in a way, like you look back on Taylor's albums or any other artist's albums, like it doesn't matter. They're all just like, you know, she's bringing us with her through her life essentially, and this is just a part of it. Like, Taylor's versions was a part of her life. It was something that she went through, and we went through that with her, and we shouldn't be asking, what does this mean now? Because like it means something, as in it looks like a, and I think that's like, honestly, like, to me, the people who are saying that kind of stuff are the difference between like pre and post eras Swifties, because a lot of people on like TikTok and whatever who are like, I saw somebody say something that was completely unrelated to this actually, but like about how like TikTok has like gentrified the music industry. So I'm going to use that terminology in this analogy, but like the people who have like been a part of like the gentrification of being a Swiftie do not understand because they weren't there, or like there's definitely some people, but most of them haven't taken the effort to even learn like why Taylor's versions were a thing. Like some of them think that it was just a thing because of like Taylor wanted to capitalize on nostalgia, and now they're like, what the hell, she's not releasing Rep TV, like what was the point of any of this? And it's just like, that's like the point of it was an industry thing. And I get it, if you're a casual listener of an artist, you probably don't care about the industry. But now we have both of these versions of these 4 albums, and that is a statement in itself of like, people are going to look back at this in 5 years and like look at those albums, the 2 versions of albums, and they're going to look at it as like, this is a part of history of this thing happening to this artist, and a reason why we shouldn't make it happen ever again to other up and coming artists. So I think it serves its own purpose in its own way, in an industry sense especially. And for us as listeners and as fans, I think it's exactly what you said. It's like, who cares what version you listen to? If somebody wants to listen to Style Taylor's version instead of the OG, like, I mean, maybe I'll shame them a bit, but like, they can do that.
If anybody wants to listen to 1989 altogether, then maybe I'll shame them. I'm joking. I'm just a big hater. No, I'm going to get so much trouble for that.
Nah, you're fine.
Okay, so now, right. So, I don't want to really talk too much about the money, but yeah, so this deal was offered to her by Shamrock Capital, who were the people that had the rights to they're the holders. And the money, the figure that was seen come out is 360 million, which is a lot of money. The initial we spoke about it last week, and I think we had the same sentiment of being like, surely it makes a lot of sense to release the Taylor's versions for every single album that could have a Taylor's version or should have a Taylor's version, to devalue the originals just monetarily, so that it's cheaper to buy. But I don't think, like, that's my brain thinking as someone who's like really has no money, so that's what I would do. But I think it the money doesn't come into it. I don't think the money comes into it at all. I think this is so much more important than a couple, say it wouldn't even devalue it that much, so like say like a couple million. It doesn't even, like, I can imagine for the Taylor finally being offered this opportunity to be like, I don't care how much, like, just like give me it, because it's like, I don't create art in the sense that, like, I'm not an artist, and like I don't understand it, like what putting pen to paper to then releasing this project to like then getting it taken off, like I don't know how that feels, but I can imagine like the ability to own something that you made at such an important time in your life that's got you to the point of where you are today is like, money is so out of the question. And like
imagine if your house set on fire and somebody had all of your memories in a glass box and took them from you and said, you can pay me 30 grand to get everything that you lost back. You would say yes.
Yeah.
Like, that's the equivalent of this to Taylor in my head. Like, I don't think the money is a question. Like, if I lost everything, like, not everything, but if I lost like all of my memories, I would probably also pay a significant amount of money to get them back if I could.
I mean, fair. So 2 months ago is when the photos were taken. But then, so when was 2 months ago? So 2 months ago was, what, like April? No. I mean, let's say like March, right? When did the Eras tour end? The Eras tour ended at the end of last year. She speaks about in the letter, obviously, about like Rep TV not being like even like a quarter of it recorded, how she's finished debut TV, and how they will eventually have their moments when the time is right. So the thing is, like, we initially had it in our heads that the release or the announcement of the at least Rep would be like near the end of the Eras tour, or like our initial plan was like Rep and then debut by the end of the Eras tour would be announced, but it doesn't like we obviously that never happened. So through the years,
she must have been in negotiation at that time.
Yeah.
To like decide not if she had debut finished, she would have decided to announce it in that year. I just couldn't imagine that wasn't the case. She obviously didn't because it was part of the negotiation. Like, I'm not going to release these albums, you know, so we can close this deal.
Mm-hmm. Like, that makes a lot of sense. I can imagine that being, like, written into it, because then it would be, like, I don't know what the legalities would be of it, but it's, like, you know, I mean, now she owns them, so she can do whatever she wants. And she obviously states in the letter that this will happen, and I think it will happen. I'm guessing it'll be, like, maybe Rep TV Vault tracks and then debut after, I don't know. But
I would say debut probably first,
Do you think
considering
so?
that she's already finished it. Like, she'll just release the vault tracks. I mean, she could, because she said for Rep she's not gonna re-release the album, because why the fuck would she? She already said she can't make it better. She might re-release debut, the full album, because she said she really likes how it sounds, so she might want us to
I want
hear
to know
it.
how it sounds. I really want to know how it sounds.
Yeah. So, like, I could see her re-releasing debut, the full album. Rep, definitely not, but definitely the vault tracks.
The bit that annoyed me from the post was people being like, okay, so we're not getting Rep. And I was like, shut up, man. I was like, I don't know if this
Who
is just
cares?
like, I don't know if this is because like I'm just,
You know what?
like, Rep's just, I'm tired of hearing it, but I'm just like,
Oh, me too.
just like,
My
I don't
like
know.
my first thought, like, when I saw that, I was like, thank God we're free of the shackles of Rep TV clowning, because, like, genuinely, I think the Rep TV clowning comes from a place of, like, Swifties who, like, maybe were haters in 2016, like, kind of longing to be there for the Rep moment, because, you know, it was, like, a real tight-knit community at that time, obviously, and, like, so you don't deserve that moment. I'm sorry.
No, because it would be, though. It would be like so many people that were commenting those snake emojis back then that would be like, oh, I love Rep, but it's like, okay, well, you actually are pretty much the reason to why, like, she said half the stuff she said in the Miss Americana documentary. So, like,
Yeah.
you want to be like,
It's hilarious.
it's just annoying.
But it is nice, like, 'cause speaking of Miss Americana, to, like, hear Taylor say in the letter that she thinks Rep, like, couldn't get any better.
Yeah.
Considering that in the documentary she was like, she needs to make a better album because it didn't get nominated for a Grammy.
The growth, we love to see
It's like, we love to see the growth. Like, exactly, Taylor. It is Rep is an incredible album and does not need any improvement. I do want to hear the vault tracks, and I think, you know, the time will come when it comes. I think, moving on, like, slightly, there is rumors. So there's another letter behind this letter. Like, there's a second page that we can't read. Like, it's almost like, oh, I want to click. Like, you know, like, you think it's like an animation on a website that you can, like, click and then it, like, animates to the next page, but you can't. So obviously people think there's something behind. I've heard a couple things. One is that, like, she's going to repress all of the physicals of the albums under Republic Records. I think that will happen regardless, whether that's in the letter behind.
There is updates
my
on
question
the shop
is,
for that, but they're not they're not pushed yet.
They're not pushed, so, like, that's definitely going to happen, but whether that's the letter or not, I'm not sure. I think that, like, it would be cool if the vault tracks for Rep are done and debut is done and she, like, wants to release those. She could just, like, release a record with the vault tracks from those albums as well, and people could buy them just as part of it, you know. It's like a bonus track set or whatever. That would be cool, and then we could just, like, move on to TS12, because I also get a sense that Taylor wants to move on to TS12, and that relates to the other thing that this letter behind could be, which is TS12. Jack, what do you think it is?
Karma.
This
is the perfect time for Karma.
It would be amazing
Because
if it
it's
was
like,
Karma.
oh, well, fuck you, Scooter Braun. I've got my fucking masters back anyway, knobhead. Like, it's, like, I mean, like, now it's like, I just wish the versions were released before then, because it's like, I am now just to the point where I'm like, I really just either want to hear them or like just know we're not getting them, or like just to move on to the next thing, like, because it would be really cool to be like, okay, I've got my masters back, I've released everything that I was going to release for Taylor's versions, now on to the next chapter. Because like now if we get TS12 and then we have the remasters, we have like the Taylor's versions after it, I'm like, just like, I don't think it works.
No, I think that this is a chapter that should be closed. But whether the vault tracks are done for rep or not makes a big difference, I think.
I don't know how she would do it. I think, which, like, if she's repressing the rep, would you then just add the rep vault tracks onto the record, or would you do like a 7-inch or 12, like a 10-inch or whatever,
with just the vault tracks, and then release all of debut as like, you know, her version, as like the OG and the. It's weird not calling them stolen versions, so it's like now OG and new version. Yeah. She could release 2 versions of OG. She call it like remastered or something, which would be whatever. Like,
it's just going to be called, like, I don't know what she's going to call it, but like in the letter she just calls it debut. So it's like, is it going to be debut, or is it going to be Taylor Swift again, like Taylor Swift Taylor's version, or debut? Like, we still don't know. Like, I don't know. I think because she called it debut, I'm guessing it's going to be debut.
Yeah, I think it could just be called debut,
or Taylor's version.
It could just be called Taylor's version. It could be Taylor Swift Taylor's version, or like I said, Taylor Swift remastered or something like that.
I still think we're gonna see a pressing of like at some point, like a collection of like, I don't know. I think they're gonna do like special editions in the future for like Record Store Day, and we're gonna see like maybe these Taylor versions get their own pressings eventually, like the originals did. Because I do not want to see the originals repressed. I want to be able to, when I'm rich, and definitely not going to happen, to buy them and keep them and protect them, and then like just have them because they're cool. But yeah, the letter has a little bit of Taylor Easter egg-ishness in it, because of course it's Taylor Swift and there is Easter eggs. It was in this sentence that says, a flashback sequence of all time I daydreamed about, wished for, and pined away for a chance to get to tell you this news. All the times I was this close, reaching out for it only to fall through. So this could just be like I was like this close, or it's quite weird because there's 12 eyes there. So
yeah, it's usually 13, so why is it 12?
That's true.
It's definitely a TS12 Easter egg, because otherwise there would be 13 eyes and nobody would think about it. And now I'm thinking, what's gonna happen when we're planning for TS13? Like,
yeah, that's gonna be really hard. I didn't think about that.
But I think that's definitely an Easter egg, that TS12 is next. But I don't want to be like, oh, it's coming tomorrow, because I presume that, like, I think that Taylor might still be working on TS12. I know that her and Jack are friends, obviously, outside of the studio, but really that good video friends. Oh yeah I met Jack Antonoff, but you guys are friends too. Yeah, totally. But like that video that we got
of them celebrating,
like, it seemed like something that would happen in like her house while she's writing a song, or in the studio. Like, it was hard to see like where exactly it was, but like it seemed like the kind of vibe that like they were working on an album, and like this stuff was happening in the background, and then they were celebrating. But if that was 2 months ago, she could be done by now, but that still means that we're 4 to 6 months away from like an actual release of an album. So like, I wouldn't say we're getting it tomorrow. But that's just my guess. I mean, we could get it tomorrow. Could be the topic of the next episode. Who the fuck knows?
Well, let's just stop saying things, because we'll be like, it's not coming out for this, like for any time soon, and it comes out like surprise drops tonight, or like the night after we drop this episode.
I mean, we already did that last week when we said, oh yeah, Taylor will release all the Taylor's versions before she buys back her masters. But the other thing to mention is the logo at the top, which is a new logo. It's like in Tortured Poets era, she's used like from the desk of Taylor Swift. And so this is not that. This is a new logo. And it notably has like the diamonds on the side. Yeah. And it looks like it's kind of like written in like a gel pen. I've seen people say that. So it definitely seems like it could be TS12 coded, since we kind of know that TS12 is going to be like lovey-dovey because of, you know, she's living her best life now.
It's also, I didn't realize this, that it's also the 2 bits of paper are like on a glittery background as well, a gold glittery background.
I thought that was carpet, but you're right. It's just so
well, maybe it
blurry.
It's really fucking blurry. So it's either glitter or like, because I thought it could be like a pin board, but then there's no pins in the thing. So like,
no, it's definitely not pin. It's either carpet or glitter, I would say.
It depends. Oh, I don't know, because this is like, fuck, if there's this much glitter in an album, I'm going to feel incredibly single when this thing comes out. Because this is like...
Jack, you need to be in a relationship.
Yeah, I know, right? Because this is going to be crazy.
That.
It's just like an explosion of glitter everywhere. Yeah, I don't know.
And we're getting MP3 Love album. Like, come on, Jack.
Stop.
Like, get with the program.
God, okay, I need to... guys, cancelled. Episode's cancelled the next couple of weeks. I'm going to go some meeting people. I don't know, the logo is strange to me. It's very like... It's very like Tortured Poets, but it's also like midnighty, and it's also like really a lot more like formal than I was expecting. So I don't know if this is just like her new signature of like how she's gonna start signing things, or like having her like business like a logo on things, or if this is like a tell, because like I don't know. I think it's interesting. And like the whole thing about there being another sheet, there is another Instagram post loaded, but not posted, which is
I think
also
that might be about the repressings. Like
the paper.
Considering you said that they're no, not the paper, the other Instagram post.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think the paper. I think people are saying that's what the paper is about, but I think the paper has to be something bigger than that.
Because like, what would you even say in the paper? Oh yeah, my albums are getting repressed.
You know what it might be? Like something related to this, and that we know is an Eras Tour documentary, which we know has been filmed. She's probably filmed this process of her buying back her.
Oh my god,
albums, like, alongside that.
Love that.
So like it could be released like together, Eras Tour and that, like, you know, long documentary about those things, which would be so cool.
Like, can you imagine from start to finish, like the moment she lost her masters to like re-recording albums to like this process of like that would be sick. That
would be cool. We need that. But God. we'll see.
Yeah, well, I mean, if anybody has any like thoughts, let us know.
Tell us in the comments.
Yeah, because this episode is just Taylor, and it has just been Taylor, but this is big news. This is big news.
Big news.
I don't know. Oh my god, maybe we should do in the future like ranking, or like picking your favorite tracks to make this like combined like
like of each album, like do we like Taylor? I think that's a good idea. When there's like a slow week and nothing's going on in the world of music, we will be doing. We should do that.
That would be fun.
So subscribe if you want to see that.
Yeah, we're big. Never done a tier list, but we'll do one. But yeah, I don't know. I think this overall is like a really just nice week, for Taylor, for us, for fans that have been there and like have been through it, because like fuck. But I finally found the ending of the original letter. It was sad and grossed out, and then the new letter is elated and amazed. That is really iconic. And I look, when the Music Shack ended last year, I was sad and grossed out. But now that we're back, I'm elated and amazed that this was another sick episode, covering everything to do with the fact that you aren't getting Rep TV anymore, except from Vault Tracks. So now we can stop talking about it. We can start talking about debut TV, because that's all I want to talk about.
Yeah, we could start talking about TS12. We could start talking about who knows what, but yeah.
We're just chilling. We're just excited. This is fun.
We're chilling.
I don't even know what this thumbnail is going to be. I don't even know how to do this. It's going to be like an explosion of... Maybe I'll just do what she's done for the paper. I'll just make the thumbnail glitter.
Yeah.
Glitter when orange store.
I agree.
Glitter by an
Glitter
Orange door
orange.
opened up, and it's just Taylor sitting on the floor with her masters.
That would be cool.
Boom.
Good
Sorted
idea.
it. Yeah, that'll get no clicks, but I've sorted it.
Anyway, thank you so much for listening to this episode. It was super fun. Be sure to subscribe. We post every week where we talk about music things, not just Taylor, but a lot of Taylor. So if you like Taylor, definitely subscribe. Yeah, and we'll see you guys next week.
Goodbye. Peace.
Bye.